What's up, everybody? My name's Usman. I'm one of the developer relations engineers here at Alchemy.
Hey guys, I am Sahil. I'm also one of the developer relations engineer here at Alchemy. And today we're super excited to be here at ETHDenver. It is one of the most amazing events and just a nice way to see what everyone is working on before the beginning of the year. And today we're excited to showcase what we have been seeing at Alchemy being one of the top teams in Web3 and where we see the future going from here. Now let Usman take over from here.
Yeah, thanks, Sahil. Yeah, so, we wanted to start off this conversation from first principles. You guys are here at ETHDenver. It's one of the biggest Ethereum conferences of the year. It happens yearly. And if you walk around this build-a-thon, and then tomorrow when you go to the hackathon, you're going to see so many booths. You're going to see so many names of companies that you may recognize, some companies that you may not recognize. And it feels like this industry is consistently growing at a pace that we can't even quantify anymore. But actually, let's try and quantify it. So just in the past year, it really does feel like we're at an inflection point for this industry where we're seeing the active addresses across all blockchains hitting an all-time high. Really feeling reminiscent of numbers related to early internet adoption, 220 million active addresses across the crypto ecosystem, generally speaking. But what we're seeing that's super interesting is that this isn't just happening across one chain, that the diversity of different blockchains across the ecosystem is actually incubating their own unique communities, their own unique developer ecosystems, and it's happening all over the industry, right? It's happening throughout many chains that leverage the EVM. It's happening on new chains like Solana. But one of the biggest trends that we at Alchemy have seen this year and recent years is this move to layer 2 networks and rollups in general. And what we're seeing is that actually a significant portion of Ethereum's activity is moving to these L2s. You're seeing many of the top applications nowadays that are leveraging the EVM, that are leveraging Ethereum, they're built on top of one of the top rollups or one of the top layer 2s today. And what this is doing is actually reducing costs for users at a very significant level. But what has that actually done for the usage of these networks, right? We're seeing costs get lowered. We're seeing developer communities proliferate across so many different chains. But this is what really speaks to the growth of this industry. If you guys were here, ETHDenver, 4 years ago, blockchains today, in 2025, 4 years ago, we processed 50 times as many transactions per second across all blockchains than we did just 4 years ago. So not only have we seen the demand for block space increase like crazy, we've also seen the amount of block space increase like crazy and the usage and the actual sustainability of that block space increasing in a very significant way. But you might be wondering, how? What has changed in the past 4 years that has allowed this level of growth to take place? Well, just 4 years ago, it felt like we were all having these conversations about how do we scale Ethereum? How do we actually launch applications that can sustain hundreds of thousands or millions of users? And the thing that we've seen here at Alchemy is that when applications reach a certain threshold, when they cross that line from toy project to real application that's sustaining load, they need real, powerful, sustainable infrastructure that powers their entire platform. And we just threw some metrics up here for you guys to take a look at about in the past 7 years, what have we seen actually happen with the folks that are using this technology and the stats related to that. So you can see 90% of Web 2 companies that are building in Web 3, they leverage Alchemy. We've powered 50 billion public RPC requests in the past couple of years. And these numbers are continuously growing as the industry is expanding because of what we just talked about here. So now I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Sahil, who's going to talk about one of the major problems that we're seeing within the industry.
Thanks, Usman. So as we just talked about, we are seeing huge growth in the ecosystem. But let's talk about how we even got here. So I think we can all agree that blockchain data is complex. And we realized this at Alchemy years ago. So even today, when you have to build an app, you have to use different providers for your app. Different ones for fetching blockchain data, different ones for smart wallets, and different ones for building your rollups. So what we did, we built Alchemy. which is the only comprehensive Web3 development platform. We have the Node API, we have data services, we have rollups, and we have tools. But at the heart of it all is Node services. Today, we support 40 plus chains, and we serve 30 billion requests per week with 99.99% uptime. And you can see the progression of chains we have added, how it is growing.
And what this means is that smart accounts are coming in a really big way. And what we've seen in the past year here at Alchemy is that these stats speak for themselves. Users are choosing to deploy smart accounts as opposed to original EOAs when they're deploying new wallets for the reasons that we've seen in the past couple of years. So today, 16 million smart accounts have just been deployed by us across all these different chains that you can see here. And it's been really exciting to see. But what makes a smart account so interesting, right? What these folks have figured out, when you look at across these chains and you look at all these user ops, and you're like, wait, that's a lot of growth. A lot of folks are actually using smart accounts. They've realized in order to increase the transactions on their application, in order to make the application smoother to use for users, they need to solve UX. And UX comes in many different ways for many different people. You have the UX for your builders, you have the UX for your chains, and you have the UX for your users. And if you are able to solve all of those problems for each of those people, you create this really unique flywheel that actually onboards many users on chain in a really significant way. And what we've seen is that teams that are actually using smart wallets and smart accounts are actually seeing 4 times the transaction growth that they would have seen prior to using smart wallets. And so when we talk about this, we talk about smart wallets, we talk about simplifying UX for developers. It's really talking about 2 key steps here. Wallets are really 2 key parts. When you guys use your friendly wallet that you're utilizing, there's really 2 key components to it. There's the onboarding aspect, actually signing up, actually signing transactions, and then there's the transactions aspect of the fees associated with the transactions and other gasless operations. Many providers that you see, they do really good at this. One half of the equation, which is embedded wallets. This is what we're all so familiar with. Sign in with Google, sign in with X, sign in with Apple, really creating a really friendly user experience to embed a wallet within your platform so that users can sign in with operations that they're familiar with and still gain the functionality of a wallet. But what we're seeing is that this second half of the equation, which is transacting, typically happens from other providers, right? Providers who are good at this typically don't really focus on this. And why is this important? The second half of this equation, transacting, is the second half of that user experience. When your user transacts, yes, you were able to create a wallet for them in a really simple way, but are you able to make them feel like using this application is like using any other Web2 application, that there's no such thing as gas, that there's no such thing as signing transactions, and that's where smart accounts come in. And what we're seeing throughout the industry today is that these tools are super fragmented. Any production-grade application, if any of you guys are running production-grade infrastructure or building any application that has this smart account functionality, you've either had to deploy an embedded wallet and then connect it to some smart account that's working in the back end. But today, one of the really unique things that we focused here on Alchemy was that we wanted to make sure that we didn't give our developers the problem of having to go to 10 different providers to stitch together their platform. So we said when we look at EIP 7702 coming, we look at the smart account and an embedded wallet ecosystem today, let's create an offering that actually combines both worlds so that developers don't have to combine XYZ provider with XYZ provider to create a user experience that is meaningful for them. They can just do it all in one SDK, our Alchemy Account Kit SDK. And if anyone was here at ETHDenver last year, you remember 3Lao, you remember that they onboarded all their users in a very Web2 friendly way, all using Alchemy Account Kit. So this was super cool. I think they hosted a really big party and they were using the sign-in to kind of get everyone in, inside of it. We're starting to see this proliferate in a very major way, and the big reason for that is because costs have now dropped less than 5 cents, and these costs are working to be even cheaper as more layer 2s are proliferating and as EIP 7702 is on the horizon. So we've talked about the infrastructure powering applications. We've talked about how to connect to applications, but one really key big proliferation we're also seeing in the industry is developers launching their own chain in the form of rollups. So I'm going to hand it off to Sahil, who's going to talk about all the cool ways that we support rollups here at Alchemy.
Thanks, Usman. Rollups, rollups, rollups. I think we can all agree rollups are the hot topic right now. But why should you even launch your own rollup? It isn't like I just have an app and I should launch my own rollup. So why should you? Let me explain it to you with a couple of different examples. There are a few reasons for launching your own rollup. One of that is faster and more reliable transactions and lower transaction fee. A key example of this is World Chain. World was 50% plus of OP mainnet transactions, and that was resulting in slower transaction confirmations, rising fees, and unpredictable transaction times. And when they launched their own rollup with Alchemy, with us, they were able to solve all of these problems. Another example of this is customization. What you really need a rollup when you need to customize the chain, you really need to fine-tune it for your own needs. An example of this is T.xyz, who are connecting on-chain user wallets with GitHub PGP keys. And lastly, of course, there are financial incentives for launching your own rollup. You have the sequencer fees, you have MEV, and the native gas tokens, of course. An example of this is Degen Chain, who are using Degen as the native gas token for their chain, which provides the utility to that token. But why should you use Alchemy for rollups? A few reasons for this. One major one is reliability. We have 7+ years of engineering experience and proven track record of supporting large customers. So you get to save on engineering overhead and reputational risk. Plus, we have 99.99% uptime. Another key feature is when you launch with Alchemy, you don't just get your own rollup. You get the whole damn platform. You get instant access to millions of developers who have already signed with Alchemy. You get access to our tools, our documentation, and our dashboard, all included in one package. Plus, you get the white glove customization and support for customers launching with app chains. And lastly, we're really excited to tell you more about the rollups programs that we have launched recently. One of them is the Everything On-Chain Fund we just launched 2 days ago, and the Arbitrum Grant. The Arbitrum grant is for teams launching on the Arbitrum Orbit stack, and it is a $10 million of total budget and credits, plus everyone on Chin Fund is $5 million. Please stay tuned for more information on these at the end of our slides, and we have a very special offer for you at the end, so stay tuned. And now I'm going to pass it over to Usman, who's going to talk more about data services.
Yeah, so it's been an interesting conversation so far, right? We've talked about base level infrastructure. We've talked about how to connect apps to that infrastructure. And we've also talked about deploying your own chain when you get there. But if you're a developer in the audience, you know that's not enough. You know that there's many other pieces to building an app that we didn't cover here today. And that's why when we say that we support the whole damn platform, we really mean the whole damn platform. And what we mean by that is we talked about smart wallets, we talked about RPC infrastructure, we talked about deploying your own rollup, but we have a slew of enhanced APIs that we know that devs have been using that they love to ping, that make it easy to build your application, right? NFT APIs, token APIs, transfer APIs. We also support WebSockets and smart WebSockets and custom webhooks. And one thing that we're really excited to be kind of diving a little bit more deeper into is this sector related to subgraphs and indexing and things related to that, where we've seen that devs typically, when they build their applications, they have to connect to our RPC provider and do all these other things. But the subgraph is always something they have to go to a third-party provider for, and we're happy to kind of announce that they can do all this stuff in one platform. So briefly, we're also going to just touch on some really exciting things related to pricing.
Let's talk about pricing. Pricing is one of the most important things that developers look at when choosing a development platform. We're super excited to announce that we have just launched the most affordable Web3 pricing plan in Web3. It is pay as you go, no monthly fees. So you only pay for what you use. And on top of that, we have significantly reduced the CU costs for each of our APIs. For our enterprise partnership, for our enterprise customers, our pricing is very simple. You pay one fee to access all the amazing products and services we provide, including SLAs, 24/7 engineering support, and even pay in crypto. And we're not just ending there. Here is Usman with a big announcement.
Yeah, so thanks so much, Sahil. So one of the interesting things that we've talked a lot about here today is all these cool tools that devs can utilize. And here at Alchemy, we're really committed not to just enhancing the developer ecosystem within Alchemy or just building up our own developer ecosystem. We really want to push the EVM forward. We really want to push the Ethereum ecosystem forward. And we really want to empower just devs to build apps in super easy ways. So today, we're super excited to announce the launch of Scaffold Alchemy, which is a brand new open source tool. If you're familiar, if you're an OG in the Ethereum space, you know Scaffold ETH. You know what it did for the ecosystem. You know how easy it made to spin up Web3 apps. It's easily one of the most forked open source dev repos out there in the industry today. And we wanted to revamp it. We wanted to make it a little bit better using all the super cool tools that we just showcased to you today. All those tools that we just talked about, you can leverage them all within one little IDE. If you've ever wanted to build with Web3, if anyone here is new to building in Web3, this is your tool. If you ever just wanted to get started, this is your tool. And we wanted to showcase a super cool demo. I was gonna live code it. It won't take me that long, but I can see I have 1 minute and 17 seconds here. So we knew that could happen, and we just shot this really cool video to showcase to you guys what this could look like. So as you can see here, we're just kind of spinning up an app, create Web3 dApp, we name our project, we CD into the repo, and then we can go ahead and immediately open up our Explorer, right? Our IDE. And then when you go into your IDE, we give you a base smart contract that you can start with. You can deploy it right off the bat. You don't have to fund any pre-wallet address. It already comes ready to go. You can see how that the counter contract just deployed on its own. And then here's the UI for Scaffold Alchemy. You can see that we're signing in with our Web2 login. And then here's that fresh UI that is sending on-chain transactions right as soon as you started. utilizing this, you can actually build really anything that you want. You can take this framework, it has a bunch of Alchemy APIs and tools built into it, and you can edit it in whatever way you would like. So super excited to offer this, especially for here at ETHDenver, where we know a lot of devs are going to be utilizing this tool. We've already talked to a bunch of devs, and they're super hyped to kind of just have this super easy way to spin up. But we have one last big announcement to make.
Yeah, thanks, Usman. I love how Scaffold Alchemy kind of combines everything together, all of those products we talked about. So definitely check it out and even use it for your hackathon project. And here's me keeping my promise of a special offer just for you guys. If you're paying for infra anywhere else, we are giving you 3 months of free infrastructure. So scan this QR code right now before it is gone. It is non-transferable and claimable by 15th of March just for you. And there is more information on our grants and funds for roll-ups. And thank you so much, guys. That is everything from us for today, and we're out of time. And that's Alchemy for you. Thank you.
Thanks so much.